Good afternoon all. So hopefully there's lots of you here to join us. We're going to do our Facebook Live again today. Hope those of you that caught our show yesterday on Create and Craft enjoyed themselves and liked what we did. If you want to give us a shout out to let us know that you are here, and if you've got any questions about anything, please give me a little message and I will try and keep up with you and give you some answers. So obviously we launched our new stencil range yesterday on our Festival of Stencils. I'm going to apologise now. Maisie's by my feet. She just keeps bringing me a tennis ball and shoving it at my feet, and I'm ignoring her, but it may result in her barking at me. She's being a proper little princess. She's not very well at the moment. Right, so we're going to work with the new stencils. Let me fish those out from under here so that you can see those first. So those of you that didn't see our show... Oh, wrong way round. That's what I needed to hit. This is our 3 new stencils. So it's stencils and masks. So you get the circle stencil and all the masks. You are missing in this set this tiny little one here and this one here, purely because they are absolutely no use to you. You can't get your finger on them, and they're almost impossible for us to be able to cut the mask shape and keep those whole. Hi Teresa, hi Viv. So as far as the masks go, those 2 are missing out of the set, but you get everything else. They would be absolutely no use to you. Hi Sue. And then we have the stars. So again, you get all the stars in there. And you get the hexagons. Oh, that's a bit... We haven't positioned them perfectly in the bags because they'll never stay there anyway. So you get, obviously you get the strips in 3 different sizes. And they'll make sense to you if you saw yesterday afternoon's show. Hi Sally Ann, hi Anne, hi Carol, hi Lorraine. Oh, Lorraine's in Spain. Thank you for that information, Lorraine. We will be talking to you soon, hopefully. And so you get the 3 sets of 3 in the 3 different sizes, and then you get the smaller individual ones there for you as well. Hi Mum. So that's the 3 that we've just launched: circles, stars, and hexagons, stencils, and masks. Today's card, you are going to be using, or I am going to be using, the circle stencil. Hi Shirley. See, look, there's perks to being at home, isn't there, Shirley? Hi Nancy. And then we are going to be using my favourites, pinks and greens. So we've got Distress Oxides in Kitsch Flamingo, Picked Raspberry and Twisted Citron. I'm taking these off my desk because I'm going, so... Versamark ink. I can hear Maisie munching. I think she's found herself a leaf. She goes in the garden, you know, and it's like an all-you-can-eat buffet for her. It's a nightmare. Sticky glue in the 2 sizes, 120ml and 30ml. We are obviously going to be using some cardstock. So we've got the super smooth stamping cardstock. We do it in 2 weights, 250 GSM and 300. I'm going to be using the 300 on this one. And then we're also going to be using the vellum. Hi Linda. We're going to be using Floral Bunch Stamp Set and Hello Sentiment. Going to be using our large blending brush. Going to be using some white inks in Versa Magic and Brilliance. Now we have only got these 2 left at the moment in the small size. The others we've sold out of. They'll be back in stock hopefully next week. And then we've also got the white Honeydew Crafts white embossing powder. So shall we get started? I'm also going to show you all the fab samples from our design team as well, because unfortunately we didn't manage to get to do a Facebook Live on Monday as hoped to show you all of that. So we're going to do that today instead. So you need an 8x8 card. A piece of white cardstock which is cut to 7 3/4 inches, and then one that's cut at 7.5 inches, and then just an offcut of your vellum because you only need a small amount. So as I always say, never throw those offcuts away. Grab my stencil, and not that lovely crisp clean new one. So So hopefully lots of you did manage to catch our show yesterday. It was nice. It was the first time I've worked with Catherine, so it was nice to work with somebody new. She was very nice. So we will start with... So I'm just going to cheat and tell you I have already inked around the outside for my layer. Thought that would save us a little bit of time. And so I've got our big blending brushes and the inks we're going to be using, and we are literally, let me move these up a bit so you can actually see what I'm doing. If you saw me on TV yesterday, you would have seen that I was told to stay on the cross, and that's what I need on mine. Stay on the cross. So you're just randomly going to pop on some inks. As you all know, the random bit for me is the hardest part of what I do. And it doesn't have to be beautiful, just get some inks on there. I do find it works better if it's slightly heavier on there than... Cool, when you look at that on the camera, it looks awful, doesn't it? Looks like I've literally just thrown ink at it. Which is pretty much what I've done, but if you get my drift, it doesn't look quite like I know what I'm doing. But I do, ish. And then we're going to go into green as well. And I'm just going to fill those bits and pieces in that I've left pink and see where we go from there. Maisie's on a right wander. She hasn't moved all morning. She's been tucked up in her little bed, feeling sorry for herself, and now she's decided she's going to go wander everywhere. I'm going to move this down here because you've got me going in and out of that screen like a yo-yo. Now I can hear that she's grabbed something she shouldn't as well. So that could be fun. Martin, I apologise, but Maisie's chewing something she shouldn't be. I can hear her shredding something. Pulled Martin away. He's busy packing everybody's orders. So hopefully they'll all come out as quickly as possible. So we're almost there. I do normally try and get these done, this part done, so that you can see what it is before we get to it, but I just didn't have time today. Been busy trying to get everything organised from TV. It's amazing how much time that takes up on a morning afterwards. So we're almost there. Just going to go in with a little bit of green down here, just to spice things up a bit. And so we've got pretty much there, I think. Just pop these out of the way to give us some room. So, as I said, we're out of the large ones, but they will be coming back in with our white inks. And all I'm going to do is take my fabulous circle stencil, and we're just going to randomly go over that white. I'm going to stand up for this because it'll make it a little bit easier for me to be able to see what I'm doing. So now I've chosen 3 different ones because each different ink gives you a slightly different look, and some of them, oh, I'm hoping this isn't going to shake too much on the, if I put that brake on, if it'll stop it moving about as much. It might do. We'll try. Oh, didn't want to do that. Now, again, I'm not using my stamping Make Art station because I move this around so much that you're going to have to rely on your fingers to hold it in place, I'm afraid. we're just going to literally build this up. Pop a big one down here. The big ones take a little bit longer to make up, obviously, because there's a bigger space. And all we're doing is popping like to kind of blur the image. Now I will go back over that in just a minute just to darken it. So I'm going to let the first lot of ink dry on there. And we're going to overlap this a little bit with some of our other size circles. A bit more on there than that. Now I found that if you stipple it, so like you would with a stencil brush, you get a darker white to come through. If you can get a darker white, if that makes sense. So we're just building up lots and lots and lots and lots of layers. And as I said, we'll just do the first coat on here, and you're going to go back in and put a second coat over. Let's see how we're starting to. Linda, we don't have them on as the full size yet, but they will be coming. So bear with us. We just haven't had a chance to get that on there, but that will be next week that we'll be able to bring those full-sized white ink pads to you. It will be next week. It's been a crazy few weeks, and believe it or not, we're off to a show this weekend, and then we'll be able to have a couple of minutes, hopefully, to get that on there. Just keep going, and don't forget you've got the smaller circles. They are really, really effective just as the tiny little circles. So we went in here with a larger one earlier, so we've got the base coat down, and now I'm going to go in with the larger circle again. And the lovely thing about this technique is if you smudge something or you're not happy with how something looks, you can go back over it with a different size circle and you can hide what you've done. So that's the really nice part about this. It's weird to talk. I'm trying to read what everybody's saying and talk and answer your questions at the same time as trying to not move my stencil. As I say, to get a slightly heavier coat, do one layer and then maybe you might end up finding that you have to go back in and do another layer on top of it. Is it coming together a little bit? You're starting to see what we're talking about. Slightly smaller one there. We're getting there slowly. I want to go back in on this one and make that a little heavier. in place, Amanda. Work out which size I used. That one, I think. I'm sorry, I'm trying really hard not to go completely silent on you, but you kind of zone the world out when you do this, which is not good when I'm supposed to be doing a Facebook Live and telling you what I'm doing. But we are literally just going back over now to get us, so the original ink layer we put on has dried. We're going to go back in and put a second ink layer over the top. And it just makes that image slightly heavier. I'm working my way away from the camera, aren't I? So we'll end up with something along those lines. So it's kind of like a blurred image. I'm just going to quickly wipe off the excess that's on here. And get these whites out of our way. This is really quite a quick card to make. Now obviously I would recommend that you leave this to dry a little bit longer, but I don't have that luxury. So we're just going to go in and give it a quick blast with the heat gun, and hopefully it will dry enough and we'll be able to do the next stage fully. We may have a little bit of a hiccup with this, but I have got one prepared earlier. So we'll work with the prepared earlier if we need it on that. But it's completely prepared, not just the white ink on there. So, and again, if you watched our show, you don't actually have to use just white inks to do this. You can use other colours on there as well. And it makes it such an effective background. Now everybody's gone quiet, so either you're watching me intensely or we're frozen. But hopefully you're watching me intensely. That was a nice thought, isn't it? So we've got our floral bunch stamp set. We're going to use Versamark ink. She's not beautifully clean, but she's cleaner than she could have been. As in, the stamp is cleaner than she could have been. I probably would have wiped over that a bit more if I'd thought about that beforehand, but I didn't, so I haven't. We're going to stamp her out on here. Apologies, we've got a bit of shaking going on. And I'm just hoping my embossing powder only sticks where I want it to stick. So hopefully that will be the case. I haven't got a piece of cardstock here to put it into. Oh, have I? Yes, I do. So we'll put the excess, tap the excess off. It has stuck in a few places. I had a feeling it was going to do that. We'll give it a good old shake. Ah, the perk is though it's white, so it's on white, and it is white, so it might just add a little bit of interest. We'll find out in a minute, won't we? So we're going to heat emboss this. So we'll heat emboss. I am going to heat from underneath because, as you all know, that's what I like to do. Hi, Julie. Well, that's lovely to know that you've just discovered us. Martin will hopefully have packed your order then, and it will be winging its way to you ASAP. It's really difficult to heat from underneath and be able to show you what I'm doing. but I can't have the camera any higher up because then you won't see anything that I'm doing. Probably not showing up hugely on there on the screen anyway. So we will hopefully end up with something like so. So we've just, oh, that was a bit quick, wasn't it? Can we pick that up? Let me take that back out and come back in and see if we can do it slower. Might pick up that image on there. Bad choice, Amanda. Bad choice of colours. It's not going to show up hugely well. Will it show up better on that one? Yeah. So that was the before. This is the after. So we've also, as you can see, got a hello on there, done exactly the same way. I told you I'd done one ahead of time. So we're also going to stamp out onto a piece of vellum. I'm only going to be cutting out this little, the actual flower buds. So yes, you can stamp on watercolour cards, Teresa, willingly. You can stamp onto it, and obviously you can then colour. If you want to colour in, just be aware of the type of ink you use to stamp it out. There's a few different inks that you can use. Some will tell you that they work for watercolours, and then you go to use them and you'll find that they're not so successful. So your best option is to just try a couple. I tend to heat emboss everything that I'm going to use for watercolour. If I'm not using, like, sort of watercolouring out the stamp, if I'm stamping it to watercolour inside, I would tend to heat emboss it first. Hope that made sense. So we've stamped out just the flowers, white embossing powder on the top. Julie, if you ordered from Create and Craft, it will be the Hermes man, or whatever you need to call him, looking out for it. If you ordered from us. Sarah, we're working on that. Our suppliers haven't got any in stock at the moment, but we will be getting them back in. You're the second person today to ask me after those. Isn't that typical? Shouldn't be too long, we hope. So we've heat embossed the white onto vellum, and then we're just going to go in and quickly cut out those flower heads. I've told you a few tips and tricks for cutting out if you're not hugely confident with cutting. One of them, and if I can bring this up close I will, one of the tricks is to, sorry, I'm trying to do this, take it further, you're cutting further away than you would, so I've cut in, you can see, we've cut in and left, hang on, let me just do a little bit more and it might make sense to you. So if you're not hugely confident cutting out, cut round the edge a little bit further away from your stamping than you normally would. And that way your eye is drawn to your stamped image and not to how well you've cut it out. So once we're cut out, I'm glad you enjoyed it. How lovely of you to join us, Debbie and Moira. So you're going to cut two out, and then we are going to pop those on the top here. So you're just going to curl those up slightly using a kebab stick, if I can grab my kebab stick. Oh, won't come out of the box. I'm coming, I promise. So you've got two choices. You can go one way. I'm going to have mine sticking out a little bit. So I've literally just dragged that kebab stick across there like you would if you had a pair of scissors and you were curling ribbon. I may avoid this colour in future on the screen because it seems really difficult to see what we're doing. Let me know if how it's looking on your end. Because if you're struggling on your end as much as I seem to be struggling here, we won't be using these colours again. So just popping a tiny little bit of glue just along the bottom of that, because I want some dimension left for my flowers. I'm just going to hold that in place. Takes only a couple of seconds to dry. Line those two up. So it looks okay for you, Carol. Hopefully that's only the glare that I'm seeing on the screen here then. So we've got some dimension there. That's probably the best angle that you've seen it at. It just adds a little bit of interest to your image. If you wanted to, you can just go straight flat in. It's entirely up to you. So as I said, I have already inked this up, but just as a tip, I haven't added any extra ink to my pink brush because I don't want it to be solid. And that's literally all I've done. Go round the edge of that card with the ink that was left on the brush. I'm going to pop that down. Pop that on the card. And we'll do the same with the piece. That was, I promise, a clean piece of card. It's all the residue that's left on my mat that you're seeing on the back of that card. And then we will place that over the top, and that is one finished hello card. But I just love this technique. I think it looks so effective. There, yay, finally we've caught the angle. I'm not moving. So just a really nice hello card. We've got a little bit of dimension there with those petals, but if you didn't want to do that, you can always pop them on there flat. The choice is yours, but I do like to add a little bit of interest to it. So that's that card. So I'm going to quickly run through what we used. If I just clear the way. How quick and easy was that? What have we been going? Oh, almost half an hour. So, yeah, right from the start, showing you everything to get to that point. That's not too bad. Glad you like it, Carol. So who did manage to catch our show yesterday, or did you watch it on catch up? Let me know what you think. It was really strange to be concentrating on our new stencils because we're so used to doing stamps. It was really nice to do something a bit different. I'm just going to wipe this over really quickly because if I leave that ink to dry on there, it's going to be a pain to get that off. So I just want to quickly wipe over that. Apologies, because I want to show you all these fab samples from our design team, so it needs to be clean before I can do that. Right, let's go in. What was I going to show you? The designs, show you what we've used first, go over what we've used first. So we used the circles stencil, the new circles. Yes, pigment is fine to use. There's no silly question. Let's start there, Teresa. There's no silly question if you don't know the answer. Pigment is absolutely fine to use. If you're new to inking and stamping, you will find the ones that you enjoy using the most. It is a little bit of trial and error to start with because everybody has something different and enjoys using them differently. So it's just playing around with them, really. Catherine was lovely, Sally Ann. Yes, she really was. And Linda, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You learnt new techniques and then had a spend. Well, thank you for that, Julie. Right, let's go over what we've used quickly. So we've used the circle stencil. Oh, I'm dropping everything now. We have used the white embossing powder. We've used a couple of inks. These two are the Brilliance and the Versa Magic, but we've also used Versa Craft, Versa Colour. Our large blending brush. We've used Floral Bunch and Say Hello. And then we've used our stamping foam and our vellum. Yes, the 11 AM slot is a really nice slot to have. It's where we always used to work from. Unfortunately, it's not so easy to get because everybody wants that slot. We've used the Versamark, and we have also used Distress Oxides in, I think we're about to get rained on, so bear with me, some Kitsch Flamingo, Twisted Citron and Picked Raspberry on this card. Obviously we also used our Honeydew Crafts sticky glue. And just one more quick look at what we finished, and that was our finished card. So now I'm going to clear these away again really quick, and we can go back to, and also obviously we've got the hexagons and the stars as well. If I clear these away, we can show you these fab samples from our design team, because they really do an amazing job for us every time, and we couldn't do it without them, so thank you again, ladies. Right, let's go for it. So we're going through everybody's and no particular order. So as I said to you, you don't have to use just white. So this is a white background with the colours on the back as the focal. This one was done by Carol. So these are all stars. If you watched TV yesterday, you saw me make this one, which was just using the stars as a little thank you card. This one was done by Hazel, and she has used Distress Oxides in Vintage Photo, and she's used Picket Fence, which we can't really get very easily in this country at the minute, and Falling Leaves of Versa Fine for the sentiment. Sentiment and image is from Nature's Imagination, and she's obviously used the stars in the background. Another one from Hazel, and she's used Sentiment from Birthday Wreath along with the stars stencil. I think this one, okay, they must all just be in the order in which, let's have a move around. So this one was done by Carol, and she's used Just Because stamp and the Distress Oxides in Saltwater Taffy and Salvage Patina, and the stencils stars on there. Just really simple, that one, which is really good. We haven't got a date yet. It's probably going to be January or February before we're back on Carol. Depends how busy the schedule gets. This one, another one from Carol. She's used oxides in Uncharted Mariner and Villainous Potion. And then another one from Hazel. Brilliance Inks in Galaxy Gold and Moonlight White versus colour Silver, and the sentiment is from Christmas Quotes. Stamped and with Versamark and gold embossing powder. How cool does that look? It's a really nice one. It should pop our Happy New Year on there, but it would be really nice for any occasion, that one. Another one from the other Carol, Tartan Stencil and Stars Stencil, Distress Oxides in Villainous Potion and Saltwater Taffy. And she's obviously used our Say Hello stamp on there. Another one from Carol. This is Garden Delight and Happy Birthday script, stars and stencils used on this. Versifying Claire in Fantasia and Distress Oxides in Villainous Potion. This particular stamp has proved to be hugely popular this week, and there's no name on this one, but I think it's Hazel, so I can't tell you anything about it other than it's Floral Bunch that we've just used. The stencils, the Star Stencil and Happy Birthday script for the sentiment. And now we shall pop over to our hexagons. So if you watched TV yesterday, this was the card we made with the hexagons. I love this, making this style of card. And all we did was we blended each individual piece. I did this piece as a long piece and then just cut it down the middle. But we've used the white inks on the background, as well as bringing in some of the darker colour, the red from our blending. So the blending on this was the new Lumberjack Plaid carved pumpkin and mustard seed for these colours. I think this particular style of card makes a great card for men or for teenagers or anybody that are really, they start to get a bit more difficult to make cards for. This one works really well. Again, this was another one I did on TV using the hexagon stencil. The technique for this one, I'm going to quickly show you. It doesn't show up great. It's bouncing a bit again, isn't it? Let me just grab my stencil so I can talk you through this. So I popped the stencil across the middle, the mask, sorry, across the middle, and just masked both sides. Oh, bouncing, 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 isn't it? I'm hoping you're seeing that. Bear with me. I'm going to go out and come back in and see if it doesn't bounce quite so much. There we go. We've got the mask in the middle. Do the outside edges first, and then you move it down. You line these points up down here and mask this section. And then you do the same again going down. And that gives you that harlequin finish to it. I'm trying to catch the light on there so that you can see it. A really simple one to make, but again, really, really effective. And took your white cardstock, one colour ink, which was frayed burlap, and a couple of pearls. That's all I used on there. So again, a really, really nice little card, just if you wanted to just send a card to say, just because. So this one says, imagination will take you anywhere, which is very true. So let's carry on going through this pile. So this one is from Carol, and she has used carved pumpkin, salty ocean, fossilised amber, picked raspberry, twisted citron, festive berries, and wilted violet, and stamped and embossed the sentiment and our Say Hello stamp set, which again looks really cool. Lots of vibrant colours in there. This one's lovely. This one was done by the other Carol. Floral bunch, and the sentiment is from Say Hello, stencils and hexagon and circles stencil, gold embossing powder, and Brilliance Galaxy Gold ink. How cool does that look? That'd make a really nice like invitation to a New Year's Eve party or something, wouldn't it? I think that'd be really cool. So she's used the white inks obviously on black cardstock, so you don't even need to ink your own background, it's just a black cardstock. And she's also popped Versamark through the circle one and heat embossed it, so that works really well as well. This one must be hazel by the size. Distress Oxide and Faded Jeans and Broken China, Brilliance Moonlight White ink, stamped with Dancing Daisies and VersaFine Claire Twilight ink on there. Really, really effective. And then our thanks is from the Nature's Imagination stamp. Another one from Carol, using Dancing Daisies, sentiment is from Say Hello, hexagon stencil, Distress Oxides in Prize Ribbon, Broken China, and Salvage Patina white embossing powder. Again, really effective. She's done the white background, used the coloured inks through there, and on here she's very faintly used the hexagon with the white inks. Another one from Hazel, she's used Distress Oxides in Carved Pumpkin, Festive Berries, and Squeezed Lemonade, the Berry Bunch die, which is out of stock at the moment but coming back, and Versa Claire is Morning Mist. Really cute little card, and she's just popped that hexagon in the background. The gold embossing powder is lovely, isn't it, Teresa? And then another one from Carol, Garden Delight and Sympathy stamp, hexagon stencil, VersaFine Claire in Fantasia, Distress Oxide background in what was picked up from the glass mat sprayed with water, basically waste from other projects. How effective does that look? Really, really nice. Sorry you have to leave, Shirley. Hope you've enjoyed yourself. So last but not least, we are going to do the circles stencil. So this one was from Helen, and she has used our large circle on the background to give you the sun. And across here is the Garden Delight stamp, and then obviously Just Because stamp sentiment. This one is from Carol, Sympathy stamp, circle stencil, inked with Distress Oxides and Wild Honey, Saltwater Taffy, Salvage Patina, and Prized Ribbon. VersaFine Bluebell for the sentiment. Again, really, really lovely. Thinking of you, you don't always need to send a sympathy card. Sometimes you just need to let somebody know. So that's a really nice one, really vibrant. Again, another one from, I think this one's from Carol again. Hello and Dotty background, circle stencil, Versa Claire in Verdant and Cheerful. Distress oxides, twisted citron, ripe persimmon, mustard seed and broken china, and a white gel pen just to make these circles look like bubbles. So again, really, really effective. Love the way she's done this background using the sentiment. One from Hazel, Brilliance Ink in Moonlight White, Berry Bunch and Sunrise die set. Just add cake for the sentiment, and it's stamped in Versamark and silver embossing powder. So this is our Sunrise, Berry Bunch, and then how effective does that look? So simple. Try and catch the light on that. And just a couple of pearls on there as well. Really, really lovely card. Another one from Hazel, great Christmas card. Distress oxides in shaded lilac, broken china, and Christmas quotes on there. Really, again, really, really effective. See what I mean by layering up those different size circles and layering up the same size, you get the different shades, which gives you that kind of mottled look to it. Another one from Carol, Garden Delight, Happy Birthday script, circle stencil, Villainous Potion, Kitsch Flamingo, Wilted Violet, Distress Oxides on this one. Again, really, really vibrant and effective. I'm sorry, it sounds like I'm rushing along, but I think 41 minutes we've already been on here, nearly 42. Another one from Helen. She's used Dancing Daisies on here, the circle stencil, Thinking of You stamp from the Sympathy stamp set. Again, she hasn't given me the colours, but she tends to use Distress inks on here. So there'll be, I would have imagined it's probably Faded Jeans and Chipped Sapphire by looking at that. Another one from Carol, Just Because and Dancing Daisies, Distress Oxides in Saltwater Taffy, Wild Mustard, Salvage Patina, Prize Ribbon and Uncharted Mariner, and obviously the circle stencil. So again, that blended rainbowy look, really, really lovely and effective, and a little bit of white gel pen along the edge here. Promise we're nearly there. Stamped this next one with Dancing Daisies, Happy Birthday script and Be Artful, circle stencils, Distress ink oxides in Wilted Violet, Victorian Velvet, Kitsch Flamingo, Saltwater Taffy, Barn Door and Fossilized Amber. Clean colour brush pens and a white gel pen and a Sakura sparkle pen used on this one. My goodness, she's been a busy bee. So this is from Be Cheerful. The bees are from Be Cheerful. Again, really lovely card. Just a couple more to go, promise. So a couple from Carol here. Circle stencil, Just Because stamp and oxides in Kitsch Flamingo and Salvage Patina.